They say kindness comes back one day, but Maria never expected it to arrive in the form of 135 luxury cars lined up outside her tiny house, their headlights cutting through the morning frost. Just 12 hours earlier, she had taken in 15 strangers during a deadly snowstorm, unaware they were all millionaires in disguise. But what happened next? No one in town had ever seen anything like it. Maria Hernandez was a 54-year-old housekeeper living alone in a small countryside home just off Highway 19. Widowed for years and with her only son serving overseas, she spent most evenings in quiet solitude, knitting by the fireplace and sipping on leftover soup from her modest pantry. It was supposed to be an ordinary night until the storm hit. Winds howled like wolves, rattling her windows. Snow piled up like frozen waves, swallowing everything in white. Power lines snapped, and the world outside vanished into a raging blizzard. Maria threw on her coat and rushed to secure the porch when she noticed something unusual through the swirling snow, headlights approaching, and then stopping. 1, 2, 3, then more. A convoy of expensive black SUVs and luxury sedans sat stranded in front of her house, unable to move through the deep drifts. 15 figures emerged, huddled together in the storm, struggling against the wind. They were dressed in tailored coats and expensive shoes, clearly not locals. Maria didn't think twice. She flung open her door and yelled, "Get inside before you freeze to death." The strangers hesitated. People weren't usually this kind around these parts. But soon, desperation won. They stomped in, shivering, snow-drenched and breathless. "I don't have much," Maria said, throwing extra blankets over them, "but you'll have warmth and food as long as you're here." They thanked her quietly, still catching their breath. One of them, a tall man with silver hair and a commanding aura, seemed to be their leader. Maria assumed he was just some businessman traveling with friends. She didn't know she was hosting some of the wealthiest men and women in the state. She gave up her own bed and slept on the floor beside the fireplace while her guests lay bundled in quilts. Throughout the night, she checked the fire, refilled water, reheated soup, and made sure everyone felt safe. Not once did she ask who they were or what they did. She only said one thing: "We're strangers now, but not tomorrow. Tonight we're family." Little did she know how true that statement would become. As dawn broke, the storm calmed, replacing chaos with a peaceful, glittering landscape. Maria awoke to find her guests already up, quietly folding blankets and cleaning dishes. They insisted she sit while they made breakfast for her. She laughed at the sight, people in designer suits flipping pancakes in her tiny kitchen. Finally, the tall, silver-haired man approached her. "Maria," he said with a soft smile, "I'm Daniel Cross. My friends and I were visiting town for an investment summit. Last night could have killed us, but you, a complete stranger, didn't just shelter us. You cared for us like your own." Maria shrugged humbly. Anyone would have done the same. The man looked her dead in the eye. "No, not anyone, but you did, and we won't forget it." They thanked her again and stepped outside to leave. But before Maria could even put away the empty cups, she heard something strange, the rumbling of dozens of engines. She walked outside and froze. Her quiet street was jam-packed with over 130 luxury cars, Bentleys, Ferraris, Rolls-Royces, Teslas lined up in front of her home. Chauffeurs stood beside them, men in suits, women in heels, cameras, news reporters. She thought she was dreaming. The 15 guests stood proudly beside the convoy as Daniel raised his hand and declared, "This woman saved our lives. Today we return the favor." What happened next would change Maria's life forever.